I've got something pretty exciting, a sneak peek, really, at a novel that's coming out soon, spring, summer 2025.
That's right, The Mark of Shadows by A Bustos.
So our mission today is to explore this one. It's billed as a noir mystery, psychological thriller, maybe even with some, supernatural hints.
Definitely feels like it's blending genres.
We want to unpack those layers and get a real sense of its, atmosphere. This early look should be interesting.
Absolutely. And I think what grabs you right away, what feels really compelling about this book, is the main character, Nico Navarro.
Okay.
He's a PI in Chicago, sure, but not your standard tough guy. He's described as haunted, a recovering addict.
Haunted by what, specifically? His past.
Yeah, very much so. And he's dealing with these incredibly vivid, really unsettling dreams. Apparently they started as just maybe a way to cope, an escape.
An escape from his childhood, you mean? The text mentions that was rough.
Exactly. Addiction in the family, abusive stepfathers, a really fractured background. But these dreams, they've started to change.
Change how?
It sounds like they're becoming less like nightmares and more like, well, potentially premonitions. Hints about secrets buried deep down.
Oh, okay. So his own subconscious might be, trying to crack the case before he even knows there is one. That's a fascinating setup.
It really is. It adds this huge internal dimension right from the start.
And then you get the classic noir trigger, right? The mysterious woman comes in, needs help.
Yep, the inciting incident.
Hmm.
But it sounds like this case is immediately deeply personal for Nico.
Because it forces him to confront all that stuff he's trying to leave behind.
Precisely. It apparently drags him back into that gritty underworld, and the risk of relapse becomes very, very real. The personal stakes for him are just immense.
Right. And the setting, Chicago, how does the city play into this?
Well, it's definitely the noir Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, the gritty parts, secret tunnels, back alleys, the underbelly.
Classic.
Yeah, and for anyone maybe less familiar, noir often has that cynical hero, the dark city setting, lots of moral gray areas. But what seems unique here is how Nico's past, his addiction history, shapes how he even perceives the city.
How so? Like his senses are different.
Sort of. Maybe dulled in some ways by the past, but now hyper-focused on survival. He's navigating not just, thugs and alleys, but his own potential hallucinations, his obsessions.
So his trauma is actually part of his toolkit almost, or a liability.
Both, probably. It makes him vulnerable, but maybe also attuned to certain kinds of danger. It colors everything.
And this investigation, it doesn't stay typical for long, does it? The source mentions a cult.
Yeah. It apparently leads him towards a cult involved in ancient Aztec rituals and human sacrifice.
Whoa, okay. That's quite a leap from a standard PI case, Aztec ritual.
Big leap. And that's where the genre blending really kicks in. You've got the Norse structure, the psychological depth, and then this potentially supernatural, almost mythic horror element.
How does that ancient stuff feel layered into modern Chicago? Does it seem jarring or integrated?
From the description, it seems intentionally integrated to create this specific, unsettling atmosphere. And speaking of atmosphere, something else is really striking.
What's that?
The accents of things. Specifically, the typical Chicago winter stuff. Christmas lights, holiday cheer.
Huh. Even though it's set in the cold months.
Apparently, yes. And the text suggests this is deliberate. It's meant to mirror Nico's own emotional state.
His numbness, his detachment.
Exactly. It isolates him further from the normal flow of life happening around him. So the cold isn't just the temperature.
It's internal. The chill of his past, his trauma. That's a really clever way to use setting, or the lack of it. It sort of subverts that noir trope where maybe you see a flashing neon sign promising warmth that isn't there. Here, there isn't even the promise.
Right. It suggests a deeper, more pervasive kind of darkness in his world. And this choice, this stylistic decision by the author, it really seems to crank up the deeper themes.
Like redemption, or the possibility of it.
Redemption, definitely. But also obsession, self-destruction. Those classic noir themes, but filtered through his specific struggles.
So the main fight isn't just solving the mystery of the cult.
No, it's him fighting the darkness inside himself. And that internal battle is reflected by the shadowy world he's moving through. It's all about the past, really.
How it defines you or how it could destroy you.
Precisely. And that choice to skip the holiday imagery, it feels less like a mood-setting detail and more fundamental to understanding Nico.
It kind of freezes time around him almost, reflects how he's trapped by the addiction, the despair.
Yeah, like he's suspended. The real chilly landscape, as the source puts it, isn't outside. It's in his head.
And the writing style itself sounds like it mirrors this blending the real and the maybe not real.
The text mentions a mix of the tactile, the gritty reality to city with the surreal, like his visions and this ancient cult stuff.
Creating that disorienting feeling, maybe, where you're not sure what's real, just like Nico isn't.
Exactly. Yeah. It talks about a metaphysical descent, which sounds like, a journey not just through the city's underbelly, but into the deeper, maybe darker spiritual layers of the place and of Nico himself.
Okay, so this book, The Mark of Shadows, it's due out spring-summer 2025. As we look towards that release, what are the big questions this initial info leaves us with?
Well, the obvious ones first, I suppose. Will he solve the case? It feels intensely personal, so the stakes are high.
And will he survive it? Not just physically, but mentally. Can he avoid relapse?
That seems like the core internal conflict, absolutely. And then there are the specifics of the mystery itself. What are these secrets the dreams are hinting at?
Right, what's buried in those shadows? And how does the Aztec cult connect to Nico? Is it just the case? Or does it somehow tie into his own demons, his past?
That connection seems key.
Yeah.
Is the ancient darkness somehow resonating with his personal darkness? That's a really fascinating angle.
It adds this whole other layer beyond just a psychological thriller. It could be genuinely supernatural or mythic.
It seems poised right on that edge, which makes it very intriguing. These questions really highlight why this novel sounds so compelling. The external plot and the internal struggle are completely tangled together.
Okay, so let's recap our deep dive into The Mark of Shadows, coming from A Bustos next spring-summer 2025.
Go on.
We're looking at a gritty noir mystery set in Chicago, but a very specific psychologically charged version of it.
Right, seen through the eyes of Nico Navarro, this haunted, recovering addict PI.
Yeah, and he's confronting not just external dangers, this cult, the investigation, but his own deep-seated trauma and the risk of self-destruction.
And all of this unfolds against that deliberately stark backdrop, no holiday cheer, emphasizing his isolation and the internal coldness he's battling.
It sounds like it's really aiming to blend genres effectively. Noir, psychological thriller, maybe even a touch of mythic horror with the Aztec element.
Yeah, the author's choices, like stripping out that seasonal imagery, seem really purposeful in building the tone and highlighting Nico's internal state. It's not just window dressing.
Sounds like one to definitely keep an eye out for next year. A potentially really gripping, atmospheric read.
Agreed. It hits a lot of compelling notes.
So maybe a final thought for you as you think about this book. How often in our own lives does our internal weather, our own history, our struggles cast a longer, deeper shadow than whatever is actually happening outside?
That's a good question. How much is perception shaped by internal landscape versus external reality?
Something to consider.